Hi, time for some quick updates. I haven't been working on it lately, been camping and so forth up in the north. But weather's getting colder and I'm going to resume work here. So I've got a few things to show you. So the first thing is this drive shaft comes out of the transaxle, runs across, and then on out to the wheel. Traditionally, this is supported by this bracket that's running in a bearing, and that would be bolted to the engine block of the original Volvo. It's not there anymore, but that shaft still needs support. So I have fabricated something that I'll show you in a second that bolts onto the front of the motor, and these things are bolted to it, and that's what's going to support this in the future. So let me get that straightened around and I'll show you. So here's the finished bracket. We've got one branch of it that goes out and holds the bearing for the drive shaft, keeps that horizontal and stable. We have another one that goes down and attaches to the original motor mount point, and then that's all bolted to the back of the motor. So that's now stable. I am going to do one other thing to support this motor, and actually it's more to fight torque. Up here we have an old bracket that used to go to a motor mount at the top of the old internal combustion engine. I'm going to replace that with some straps that run down to the transmission. One here and one over here, and that will keep it from rocking back and forth under torque. I don't know how much torque it'll generate. Electric motors are torquey, but maybe it's overkill, but that's okay. A little overkill won't hurt anything. Probably going to use the old steel straps that came, that used to hold the fuel tank up. I'll repurpose those. Waste not, want not. All right, here's the promised torque brace. It attaches to the top of the transaxle, runs up, and is attached to the bottom of the pivot point that used to be for the torque brace for the internal combustion engine. I actually banged a piece of flat steel out on an anvil, heated up with a MAP gas torch to make a nice curve. There's no welding involved, it's just all bolts. But it's good and stable, and it should keep the motor from rocking, which is what I want. So there's that, another thing checked off the list. So here we are with the completed brace, painted, ready to go. Well, again, keep the motor from rocking. Here we have the throttle cable coming out. I'm going to attach it tomorrow to a electronic throttle controller, which is going to get screwed up here. So it's coming along. So today's task is a little silly, but nonetheless necessary if this is going to be viable as a car. I'm still fabricating the brace that's going to hold this motor from torquing over too far. But today I'm actually removing all of the unused bits of wiring harness from the car. You can see I've already removed a bunch of stuff that no longer serves any purpose. This is all engine control stuff. There's no engine, so I don't need it here. So I'm about to hack all this off. I then cover the ends with shrink wrap, and then as a final step, I use electrical tape over that. So it's just kind of like an amputated stub of wires. I'll probably save all this wiring. It's good quality wire. The insulation hasn't broken down, so it's good to have in the junk box. But I don't want it under the hood, cluttering things up. So I'm going to work on that for a while. So that's what it looks like once it's all cut and sealed. Now I'm going to wrap it with tape, tuck it away, and that's like 5 pounds of wires right out of there. So here we are underneath the car, and no, I am not installing a urinal that needs a drain. I am instead installing conduit suitable for running the power cables forward from the trunk. As you can see, I've got this 2-inch PVC running down the old exhaust pathway, and it comes up into the floor. There's a fitting there that's bolted onto the sheet metal. There was an access port plugged up by Volvo. I don't know what it was for, but that is in place now. I'll show you the top side and where it's going to come out and where I'm going to route the wires. So there's the hole underneath the back seat that I'm going to route the wires through. You can see the conduit down there. It's bolted up there, or it's actually with sheet metal screws. I'm going to replace those with bolts so that there's nothing there to gall the cabling. The wires will run from the trunk underneath the seat here, and I'm going to put a metal cap over it like a tunnel, so that can't be galled or abraded or electrocute anybody. So it'll run down into that hole then, through the white conduit all the way forward, and then there's the white conduit right there. I gotta move this over. That's gonna come up through a 45, and then there will be flexible conduit that takes it to the motor controller, which will be mounted right there. You can see I've got the throttle mounted here. I'm waiting for a adapter, so this cable will attach to that, and then everything just needs to be wired. I'll be snaking the main cables through soon. So we're getting very close to having the ability, at least, to install batteries and run power forward to the motor.